Boy, I'm telling you, this is why we garden. I love a fall garden, and fall gardens you have your cabbages and right here we have some beautiful collards, and this is the last part of our fall garden, and we're starting to already get it ready for springtime. So this is some beautiful greens that we're going to cut up, and I've got a great recipe, so we're going to be covering that with you today. So y'all get ready. Okay, it's time to start creating the broth. If you don't have good broth, then your greens are just going to taste bland. If you just cook them in water, there's no flavor to it. So we're going to create a broth, and so what I want to do is put 32 ounces of chicken broth into a large pot. That's the first thing we'll do. So I'm going to pour that into it. It's real easy. Once you get the ingredients together and everything, and the next thing while this thing is cooking down, it'll take about an hour to 2 hours to cook down and give you a good broth. During that time, then I'll cut up the greens or get that ready and everything. So then I'm going to take one whole onion. I'm going to put that in there. So here's an onion. I like to use those yellow sweet onions, like a 10-15 kind of onion. H-E-B has them. So my favorite store. So there's that. And I'm going to put 4 garlic pods in it. Calls for some garlic. And so we've got a tool that we use that makes mincing garlic real easy. It's a little tool that just take it like this, and it does that. And let me get my knife. There we go. And just cut that off like that, and that's done. And you just take it out, clean the little shell part out, and so it's not that difficult. That's probably the hardest thing right there. Pop another pod in. Here you go. It's always good to kind of have your kids around, let them see how you're doing things. That'll interest them. I know my granddaughter, she loves to cook with her Mimi and Pawpaw, so that always makes time in the kitchen educational and fun all at the same time. Here's a big garlic pot. I probably should have cut this one. No, it'll go in there. There we go. Get in there. Get in there. There we go. Here we go.
That's a lot of garlic.
Yeah, that is a lot of garlic. But garlic's always, it's good for your health. It's just a good all-around for soups and all kinds of things that we cook around here. It's always good. So here we go. Here's the last one.
That's garlic.
Okay, so that's done. Okay, then I'm going to put, I've got some smoked ham hocks. These are already boned and everything. Got these at H-E-B. I'm going to set those in there, and that's what we're going to be cooking down. And so I'll just set these in there. There's that, and that. Okay, for seasonings, thank you, babe. A 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Just sprinkle that in there. 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And a 1/4 teaspoon of coarse ground black pepper. Put that in there. And then the last thing I'm going to do is cover this with water and then put it on to boil, bring it to a boil. And once it starts boiling, then I'll cut it back down to simmer. And then let it sit there and cook for about an hour to 2 hours. So we'll catch you on the other side of this.
Okay, so something's always cooking in Mimi and Pawpaw's kitchen. Right now, the ham hocks have come out of the broth.
Yeah, I've got the ham hocks here. They'll sit aside, and then I'm gonna go ahead and kick the fire. Come over here and show them the broth itself. I said in the early part of this, it was a 1/4 teaspoon of this red pepper flakes. It was actually a whole tablespoon of that. And anyway, it puts the right amount of pop to the broth. So the broth's now ready, and we're ready to turn around and show them this.
Yeah.
Can you believe that all this is going in that pot? These things will cook down real quick, but we've got them all cut up and everything, so I'm fixing to put these in here, and then we'll go ahead and simmer them for about another couple of hours. And whenever you get the right tenderness, you just kind of have to check it along the way. And then I'll cut up the meat and then add that later, and probably put some of this good old hot sauce to flavor it a little bit more there at the end. It just turns out really nice. So here we go.
That's it. We'll come back to you and let you see the finished product. Okay, believe it or not, all of those greens that were on the counter, they're all in the pot. That's amazing. So all Harold has left to do, he's going to be cutting the smoked ham hocks that simmered for a couple hours in that delicious broth. He'll be chopping that meat up and adding it to the pot of greens. So.
1 to 5 hours. Actually,
And then, of course, he'll have to kick it up a notch with a little hot sauce.
but I'm going to go ahead and cut this up now, and I'm
Okay.
going to go ahead and put that in with the collards, and that way it cooks with them. So
Okay.
That's my next step. That's what
All
I'm
right.
fixing to do.
We'll come back and let you know how it is.
What you doing, Mimi?
We are sorting through a bag of pinto beans. What I'll do tonight, I'm going to rinse these really good
Yeah.
and put them in a pot to soak overnight.
Okay.
In the morning, we'll rinse them and we'll put them on to cook with some of the short ribs that you cooked on the pit here not too long ago. What we do, we take our leftover ribs or leftover brisket and we put it in the freezer until we're ready to cook up a pot of brisket beans or pinto beans with ribs. So
That sounds good.
I'll let you know tomorrow.
All right. We'll
Okay.
do that tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Let's look at these greens and see how they're cooking.
Okay.
Here.
I'll hold it for you.
There you go.
Let's see what's cooking.
Because I need to give them a stir right quick, but we're probably about 30 to 45 minutes away. Take a look at that.
Oh my.
Can you see all that goodness in there?
That's a lot of deliciousness in one pot.
Man, that is looking good. The smell is wonderful. Look at all that meat and everything that's in there. That is going to be a good pot of greens.
It's still amazing how all those greens you had on the trays fit in that one pot.
Yep, I tell you what, we're going to have plenty to share, that's for sure. All
Wouldn't
right.
you like to be our neighbor?
Yes, all right. Well, y'all have a good evening, and we'll plate these up. We'll probably have some of these with the beans tomorrow. So y'all have a blessed evening. Talk to you later. Barbecue Patriot out. I just couldn't stand it. I know we said we were going to have these greens tomorrow, but these greens are so good looking. I had to try some tonight. So I know we're going to have them tomorrow with our meal, and we've got, I'm planning on cooking some pork ribs and everything, but tonight I want to try a little bit of this, so I'm going to put a little bit of hot sauce on it. I always like to kind of spice it up a little bit. I've kind of always been one that likes mine a little bit hotter. Let's see how these greens turned out. They've still got another, probably, I'd like to cook them another hour just to make them good and tender. But let's just see how they taste. So good. These are wonderful. If you don't like collard greens, you need to try these. These are delicious. So anyway, there'll be more of this tomorrow. We'll have some leftovers. So these definitely will be on the menu tomorrow. Y'all have a blessed evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Good night.